point, but it's
Yeah.
also the CEO that makes the decision to move forward with that stuff. So, and they know it's a laborious product, especially it's laborious just to get something going with like the Costco's of the world, or even the 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven doesn't make any rapid decisions, and Costco certainly doesn't make any rapid decisions.
All right.
That's just the way that they run the business.
Right. So still, you were analyzing data here, right? And doing market research. Can you tell me a little bit about how exactly you were going about that?
Well, you have to pull the data from the different data streams when you're looking at market data and customer data. So basically, it's pulling the data. When you analyze it, you have to look at the different shopping behaviors. Let's say consumer data. So you're looking at the behavior of the shopper, where they're buying, what their income is. I mean, you're going all the way down the line, analyzing who that consumer is. And then with the product, you have a target audience that you have with that. So basically, when you're analyzing, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at the target audience. Then when you're taking a product, you're designing your marketing package towards that group you want to target. So basically, what you put together is almost a mini marketing program for that age group, and you pick the age group you think could be best suited for that, but also the data comes back and tells you which is the best. So it's
okay.
And when you go to market data, anyway, sorry, I had one of the Alexa assistants here yelling at me. But anyway, so then you go to the market data and see what that market data holds, what their income is, what are the chances of them, buying that product. So there's lots of little things that go in there. It's hard to explain, really, but you take that into account, the market data along with consumer data, and then you build your database of who you're going to be selling to. We'll say, for instance, a supermarket. Okay, which if you're going in and you're selling, I'll just use ice cream as an example, and I'm selling Blue Bunny ice cream to some of those markets. Well, I go in there and I basically look at the markets and see how much of the business they have currently, how much of the sales they have currently, and how much we can take away from that with price points, targeted audience, investing in promotional, not only money on in-store, but also down to what that customer, let me see, where's my train of thought? So basically you take that item and how much you would garner from the marketplace, how much you would take from those businesses, you could take away with price point, promotional activity, marketing activity, and then what would be your base target. So that's pretty much how you would give kind of a little basic overall picture of what you do. It's nothing set in concrete, but the numbers say this is what will happen, and how many sales per store, what's your average velocity for that item in the store. So velocity being how much you sell a week. So if your velocity, anything that's under a 3, there's not a single supermarket in the U.S. that'll take that item. So you have to have a velocity of at least 3 units per week per store, and any business or any retail outlet you go into.
All right. So all of this, and did you maybe identify any really any market trends as a result?
Well, market. Well, you do. I mean, also if your target, again, I'll use ice cream as that. So, what are ice cream sales? Who's up? Who's down in the market? Who's buying? What's the overall picture? Are the markets keeping up trend with the California, the local or the U.S. market? Or you could specific data could go to San Diego, Los Angeles, could even be broken down into smaller groups. There's actually probably, I think there's three. There's Riverside, San Diego, and Los Angeles. So you can break that down to three. Then you go down to the market and see what percentage of the business they have, and comparatively speaking to the U.S. So if you're taking a product, you want to compare it to U.S. to what the markets are doing. If the markets aren't doing well with the product, why aren't they doing well? What are the key indicators? And it could be that customers are going to more markets than they ever did. So I'll say they go to Bonds for this, they go to Walmart for that, and they go to Trader Joe's for another thing. So the business, as the businesses decrease, other of the outlying companies that were there but not doing as big a part of the business are growing at a higher rate, like the dollar store is another example, at a higher rate than the supermarkets are. So does it behoove you to go into a supermarket or a depending on what the size of your product is, into a dollar store or a trade? It's hard to get into Trader Joe's, but we'll just say a dollar store.
Mm-hmm.
So trends tell you that. They tell you about what markets, where the business is going, who's going where, what's selling, what's not selling, or not selling as well year over year, or in the last 12 weeks, last 4 weeks, last 26 weeks. You can break it down to anything. So the market would tell you what you're doing. And to be more specific, I'd have to get a specific item.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, can you give me like a specific example of maybe a product that wasn't selling well and that you were able to identify the market trends for and improve its performance?
Well, from Blue Bunny, it would probably have been the packaged ice cream, moving from a 56-ounce package to a 48-ounce clear package in the market. Be able to take that and increase sales. It's a very competitive market in California with Lever Brothers, Nestle, and Blue Bunny, and even Tillamook in the ice cream business. So to be able to compete in that market, you have to spend a lot of money. And at that time, Wells wasn't willing to spend that kind of money for the outcome that was going to happen. But in this market, it's Nestle spends every month, and they deep dive into it to two for $5 or two for $6 type ads. So to be able to compete with that, we had to show a point of difference. So we had the same pricing, but not as many programs as they did. We had clear packaging that could show the product to the consumer and see what they want. We had the most advertising in the market with $40 million. So we had to use key selling points to be able to get that product in. We made that change to redevelop our brand within the market. So it was difficult in terms of before, when the sales were dipping and we weren't spending, and now we were spending and we had to play catch up. So it was when you use data in terms of that, like consumer data, when we're doing taste tests and with consumers, we go around the United States and we had different taste tests and how to compare to certain products within those markets. And we were winning out in every market, but the problem was getting the consumer to try it. And we had to run some deep dollar discounts to get those into the consumer's refrigerator, just so they could at least try that product.
All right. And what was the impact of this whole thing then?
Impact was growth on the product, not the first year, because there was a few learning pains that we had to do with packaging. Nothing with the ice cream. Being able to deliver that ice cream, weren't producing it fast enough. So there are a few growing pains. So the next year, it was probably minimal growth the first year, just because of our learning pains. And then the next year, we were able to grow our business from targeted to about, I think it was 10% growth.
Which is 10%.
Yeah. That was our target. We were able to beat that by, I think, depending on which account you were in, anywhere from, let's say, uh, 10% in an Albertsons to well over 25% in a pint size. So they're all different.
Wait, so you did this for different clients?
With who?
Did you
Well, we
do
had
this
to
for
do.
like
Well, this
yeah,
is ice
go on.
cream because I can't talk about what we've done with the other ones yet.
Yeah, but what I mean to ask is, were you for the ice cream thing, were you doing that for a specific account or was this for multiple accounts?
Well, we would do well with all the accounts because we were changing our packaging to clear packaging. We downsized from 56 ounce to 48 ounce, so we were presented to every market. They had to, or
All
they
right.
didn't carry our product.
All right.
Every
Got it.
every account.
All right.
So if I was looking at individual accounts, I could say that Pint Size in Hawaii grew their business 26%. Um, After all the learning pains over at Albertsons grew the business probably just under 10%. I think they were at 7 or 8%, and
Mm-hmm.
so the overall with the territory it grew over 10%, or my area.
All right. Perfect. Let's see. Right. So, can you give me like a total number for the accounts that you were overseeing? Would you happen to know exactly how many?
And I was overseeing. Let me
Yeah.
see. Albertsons, Bonds, 7-Eleven, 4, 5, 6, uh, 7, about 9 accounts.
All right. About 9 accounts. Okay.
Well, it was
Perfect.
9 accounts.
All right. Um, right. So, was your performance here recognized in any way? Were there any awards or any professional recognition?
Who was I recognized?
Yeah.
At Wells, yes, for one award. It's the President's Award.
We'll talk about Wells later. Right now, could we just stick to Premier Action Group?
Nothing.
All right.
There's no award.
Um, any other efficiency improvements? Did you help the company save time or money in any way? Anything else that you can think of?
No.
All right. So, anything else that you want to add for this position?
No. Not at this point. I mean, I was a pivotal role in developing short and long-term business decisions
Mm-hmm.
for the company by identifying business opportunities and
Right. Just a second. I've all this while we've been talking about your consultancy role at Premier Action Group, right? Exclusively?
right. Yeah.
All right. All right. Okay. Perfect. For a second, I thought maybe we'd confuse the two roles. All right. So we'll
I
move
was
on to the business.
confused because I didn't have individual accounts at Premier Action Group. I didn't call on any accounts per se. That wasn't my job.
All right. So for all the accounts information that we've talked about, 7-Eleven, Albertsons, Pin Size,
Those were
that's for,
all the ice cream business. Those were all Wells Enterprises.
all right. So
I
that's
didn't,
Wells
as a
Enterprises.
consultant, I was
Mm-hmm.
strictly a consultant. I didn't do any of the sales. I mean, if they
All
asked
right.
me to go along on a sales call, I would, as consulting on different things, but when or on market data and as such. But at there, I never really called on accounts. That wasn't what I was hired to do.
All right. Got it. So for the consultancy role, I just want to clarify a few things. The Costco and the convenience store thing, those recommendations, those are for the consultancy role, right?
Yes, and
Just
those
not the
those are
accounts
just
things that we've discussed.
right. Those are
All
just
right.
those are just proposals for
Mm-hmm.
for Premier Action Group.
All right. So for the Premier Action Group, then, is there anything else that you want to add? Because I feel like I don't really have a lot of information for that. So anything else that you can think of, any quantifiable accomplishments or otherwise even?
It's hard to know because I have no other quantifiables now. I could just tell you from the first information that I gave you on those three topics with the Costco, the 7-Eleven, those are quantifiable proposals that I gave to the CEO president.
Yeah, we already discussed those, right? So is that all?
Right. Yeah.
All right. So we'll move on then. Okay.
Yeah, there's more stuff. I mean, but it's all in the works right now, so I can't really put that in anything.
If there's anything significant, even if it's in progress right now, we can discuss that and put it on your resume if you think that it's going to have like a significant impact.
Okay.
Right.
Well, at this point, I do not.
All right. So we'll move on to the Wells Enterprise role. All right.
All right. All right.
All right. So we're only going to talk about the business development manager role first, and then we'll move on to the other one. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So for the business development manager role, I know that we already discussed that you were overseeing 9 accounts. Besides that, what other key responsibilities did you have?
Well, I had cross-functional responsibilities within not only the retail but convenience and food service sectors as well. And those, when you talk about convenience, that would be the 7-Eleven, and then food service would be schools and hotels in the Hawaii area. I also managed the broker in Southern California, which was Acosta. I was responsible for achieving, sales and profit objectives in support of strategic growth targets at accounts. So every year we get targets that we have to hit. So that was my responsibility to hit those targets given to me by executives at Wells. And I had to set strategic growth targets for the broker as well in the Western region. Some of the things I did were sales planning, forecasting, demand planning, trade spend, budget management. We used fact-based selling. Fact-based selling is basically what you'd use with consumer market data and trends, as well as market data, which would be AC Nielsen and IRI data.
All right. All right. So in your resume, you have some really nice quantified accomplishments, and I want to discuss the context for